Many people are walking through life smiling on the outside but bleeding on the inside. They wake up every morning pretending to be strong, yet their hearts are quietly breaking from memories they cannot forget and wounds that never healed. God sees those tears that never fall and the silent screams that no one else hears. This message is for you, the one who has cried in secret, the one who has done everything right but still feels unseen, unloved, and stuck. Before this year ends, God is about to release you from everything that has kept you in emotional, spiritual, and financial bondage. There is a simple, prophetic instruction that carries divine mystery and power. It is not witchcraft. It is not superstition. It is a spiritual act of surrender that activates the supernatural realm. You are to write 7 specific words on paper and burn them. These 7 words represent the weights that have delayed your progress and stolen your peace. When you write them, you are acknowledging your pain. When you burn them, you are declaring that those burdens no longer have power over your destiny. God has always used physical actions to produce spiritual results. When Moses lifted his rod, the Red Sea parted. When the Israelites marched around Jericho, the walls collapsed. When Jesus spat on clay and touched the blind man's eyes, sight was restored. These were not random acts. They were prophetic instructions tied to divine timing. And now this same prophetic moment has come to you. God is telling you to do something small, but deeply symbolic, to write and burn what has been haunting your soul. As you perform this prophetic act, remember that the paper is not the power. The faith behind your action is. Fire represents the presence of God. When Elijah called upon God on Mount Carmel, fire came down from heaven and consumed the offering. That same fire is still alive today. It purifies, it consumes evil, and it releases blessings. When you light that fire, you are inviting God to step into your situation and burn away every curse, delay, and negative energy that has been following you. This act is personal. You do not have to tell anyone. Find a quiet place, a private moment, and open your heart fully before God. Do not rush the process. As you hold a pen, think of every pain you've endured, every rejection you've suffered, every shame you've carried. Write each word with the intention of letting it go. This is your moment of release. Heaven is watching, and angels are standing by to carry your burden away. You have carried so much for too long. Pain that has stolen your laughter, delay that has frustrated your dreams, rejection that has broken your confidence, failure that has mocked your efforts, shame that has silenced your joy, lack that has humbled your strength, and sorrow that has dimmed your light. But as you prepare to write these 7 words, understand that this is not the end of your story. This is the moment God begins to rewrite it. Before 26 arrives, your name will no longer be attached to suffering. Every pain will be erased. Every failure will be replaced with victory. Every closed door will open. When you burn that paper, see it as a divine transaction between you and God. Covenant that declares, my pain ends here. Because from this moment forward, heaven has marked your name for restoration, healing, and peace. The first word you must write is pain is the invisible prison that holds so many people hostage. It is a memory of betrayal that keeps replaying in your mind. It is the disappointment that made you stop trusting, the heartbreak that stole your joy, and the injustice that left you feeling powerless. Pain is the seed of bitterness if not surrendered to God. When you write the word pain, you are acknowledging that it has lived too long inside you. Burning that word means you are releasing your pain to the consuming fire of God, asking Him to heal every hidden wound and replace sorrow with strength. The second word is delay can be more painful than denial. It is when you know you are called for greatness, but time seems frozen. You pray fast and work hard, but the results don't come. Delay is a spiritual enemy that frustrates your destiny, and many don't realize it's not always natural. It's sometimes a spiritual hold meant to waste your years. Writing delay on paper is a declaration that time will no longer mock you. As you burn it, you are commanding divine acceleration to enter your life and restore every wasted opportunity. The third word is rejection is one of the deepest wounds a person can carry. It's the pain of being unwanted, unseen, or replaced. It breaks people's confidence and silences their potential. But when God steps in, rejection becomes redirection. Every person who walked away was part of the plan for your transformation. Writing rejection means you're ready to stop seeking validation from those who never understood you. When you burn it, you're saying, God, become my approval and let me attract only those meant for my destiny. The fourth word is failure has caused many to give up on themselves. Some started businesses, ministries, or relationships that collapsed. And since then, they've been afraid to try again. But failure is not final. It's the womb of wisdom. When you write failure, you are admitting that you've fallen, but you refuse to stay down. Burning it means that the shame of your past mistakes will not define your future. You are letting the old version of yourself die so that a new, stronger, wiser version can rise. The fifth word is shame is a silent destroyer of confidence. It whispers lies that tell you you're not enough, not worthy, not deserving of joy. Many people carry shame for things they couldn't control: poverty, abuse, family background, or personal struggles. But God does not operate through shame. He restores dignity. When you write shame, it's not self-pity, it's surrender. When you burn it, you're declaring that every label, every mockery, every humiliation is turning into honor. The ashes of shame will fertilize the soil of your testimony. The sixth word is lack is not just financial, it's emotional, spiritual, and mental. It's the feeling that you never have enough, that no matter what you do, something is missing. Many have lived in cycles of scarcity because the spirit of lack follows them like a shadow. But today that chain must break. Writing lack on paper and burning it represents breaking every covenant of poverty and limitation. It's a prophetic act that invites the abundance of heaven to flow into every area of your life. The seventh and final word is sorrow, is the companion of loss and disappointment. It drains energy, steals hope, and blinds you to God's goodness. But the word says weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. When you write sorrow, you are identifying what has been stealing your joy. When you burn it, you're declaring that your morning has come, and your tears have become seeds of breakthrough. God is turning your sorrow into celebration. Fire has always represented transformation. In the spiritual realm, it is the purest force that separates what is clean from what is impure. When God wanted to confirm his presence to Moses, he appeared in the burning bush that was not consumed. When the Israelites wandered in the desert, he led them with a pillar of fire by night. And when Elijah confronted the prophets of Baal, he called on the fire of heaven to prove that the Lord alone is God. Fire is not destruction when used under divine instruction. It is purification. That is why when you burn those 7 words, you are not performing a ritual of loss, but a ceremony of cleansing. Every word written carries spiritual weight. When you burn them, you are sending a message into the unseen world that what once held power over you is now being consumed by a higher authority. The smoke that rises from that fire symbolizes your release. It ascends before God as a spiritual offering of surrender. You are saying, Father, I give you my pain, my shame, my lack, my sorrow. Let them rise as smoke, never to return again. Fire has no reverse. Once it burns something, it cannot be undone. The act itself seals your release. Throughout history, burning has been part of divine justice and purification. God used fire to cleanse Sodom and Gomorrah, to consume sacrifices in his presence. and to reveal His holiness on Mount Sinai. In spiritual language, burning signifies the end of one season and the beginning of another. As you light that paper, see yourself standing between the ashes of the old and the dawn of the new. What burns in your hands will no longer live in your heart. The very flames that consume your pain will clear the path for your purpose. Do not underestimate the simplicity of this act. God often hides His power in simple instructions. Naaman almost missed his healing because he thought washing in the Jordan was too ordinary. But obedience activates miracles. Your obedience to burn what symbolizes your pain will trigger divine intervention in ways your prayers alone could not. This is why you must do it with intention. Speak life as you burn it. Say, I release pain. I reject delay. I close every door to failure and sorrow. Let your words become fire themselves. The fire will speak on your behalf. It will go into places where your voice cannot reach, into realms where curses were formed, into memories where trauma was planted, into bloodlines where patterns began. It will burn the roots of every curse, every soul tie, and every emotional chain connected to those 7 words. As the fire rises, imagine God erasing names of pain from the book of your life and rewriting it with peace and favor. The flames are not your enemy. They are your allies in deliverance. This prophetic burning is not about revenge. It's about renewal. It's a spiritual reset that allows the soul to breathe again. When you finish, do not mourn what you burned. Rejoice. For in the same way fire purifies gold, this burning purifies your destiny. Every pain becomes wisdom. Every delay becomes direction. Every rejection becomes redirection. And every lack becomes a lesson that leads to overflow. You are rising from the ashes like a phoenix touched by grace. And as you watch the smoke fade, whisper one truth. God, I trust you with what I can't control. That whisper invites heaven to take over. That act draws a line between your past and your promise. By the time the last spark dies, something in the spirit realm will have shifted. You may not see it immediately, but you will feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. The fire has done its work, and heaven has recorded your obedience. The year 2026 carries a prophetic vibration of restoration and divine reversal. It is not just another calendar year. It is a spiritual timeline that marks the end of prolonged battles for those who have suffered in silence. God is preparing to exchange sorrow for laughter, delay for acceleration, and rejection for divine recognition. This is why this prophetic instruction must be done before the year arrives. The act of burning those 7 words is not random. It is preparation for the shift that is about to unfold. Heaven is aligning events to favor those who have chosen healing over bitterness and faith over fear. In spiritual symbolism, the number 26 represents divine partnership between heaven and earth. 2 and 6 signify balance, cooperation, and covenant. It is a number that speaks of new beginnings, birthed from old endings. When you hear that God will erase every pain before 26, it means the chapters that broke you will close completely, and the story that heals you will begin. The tears you cried in 23 and 24 watered the soil for your testimony. 25 is the transition year, and 26 is the harvest. The season of pain is being exchanged for peace. There is also a hidden prophecy connected to timing. Many have been crying out for breakthrough, but God waits until the appointed moment so that no one else can take His glory. 2026 represents that appointed time. Those who obey the prophetic act of release will walk into that year lighter, freer, and ready to receive what has been stored for them. The very things that once mocked you will now announce your elevation. Those who whispered about your pain will see your restoration. Every delay, every disappointment, every betrayal that once made you question your worth will become the foundation of your testimony. Before 26, doors that have been closed for years will suddenly open. There will be sudden opportunities, unexpected promotions, and divine reconnection. Bang. People who left you for dead will see you thriving. The pain that made you weep will become the reason you worship. This is not motivational talk. It is prophetic truth. The moment you burned those words, you entered into a covenant of divine exchange. Heaven acknowledged your obedience, and your name was moved from the list of the afflicted to the list of the restored. God has declared that the pain of the previous years will not cross into 26. The failures that haunted your nights will dissolve, and the sorrow that overshadowed your mornings will vanish. You will enter 26 not as a victim, but as a vessel of testimony. It will be a year where the same people who once pitied you will seek your wisdom. Where you once borrowed, you will lend. Where you once wept, you will laugh again. Every closed door will remember your knock, and every blessing delayed will run toward you with speed. But this prophetic shift requires faith. You cannot carry bitterness into a year of blessing. You cannot hold grudges and expect restoration. That is why this act of writing and burning is not only about releasing pain, it is about preparing your spirit for elevation. When you let go of what broke you, you make space for what will bless you. 26 will not accommodate old burdens. Only those who are spiritually light will rise. So take this message seriously. Your obedience today determines your peace tomorrow. When that year arrives, you will look back and realize that this was the turning point. The day you obeyed and burned those words will become a memorial in your spiritual journey. God will say, "This one trusted me," and for that reason, you will see divine speed. You will walk in unexplainable favor. The same fire that consumed your pain will illuminate your path toward destiny. The prophecy is clear. Before 2026, every trace of pain will be erased, and your story will shine as proof that God restores in full. Find a quiet moment when you will not be disturbed. Choose a peaceful place, preferably your prayer space, balcony, or open area where you can feel the presence of peace around you. This is not about performance. It's about connection. Take a deep breath and allow your heart to settle. Before you do anything, speak softly and invite God's presence. Say, "Lord, I'm ready to release what has hurt me and to receive your peace." When your heart is still, you'll feel the assurance that heaven is watching and listening. Take a clean white sheet of paper and a pen with blue or black ink. The color white represents purity, new beginnings, and peace, while the ink symbolizes the permanence of what you are writing. As you hold the paper, imagine you are holding the story of your past. Begin to write these 7 words, one under another. Pain, delay, rejection, failure, shame, lack, sorrow. Do not rush it. With each word, think about how it has affected your life. Remember the moments when you cried, the times you lost hope, and the situations that made you question your worth. Let your tears, if they fall, be part of the release. Once you have written all 7 words, fold the paper 3 times. Folding symbolizes sealing your decision to let go. It is you saying, "I am done revisiting this chapter." As you fold it, whisper prayers of release. "God, take this from me. Let this not live in me again." Then prepare to burn it. You can use a fireproof bowl, metal pot, or any safe container. This is not about destruction, it's about transformation. As you light the flame, say the words aloud one last time, then declare, "I release you in Jesus' name." As the paper burns, do not turn away. Watch it completely turn to ash. Let the burning remind you that pain cannot survive in the fire of God. The flames represent His power consuming everything that once weighed you down. The smoke represents your surrender rising to heaven. In that moment, say, "God, let this smoke carry my pain away." Feel the relief. Feel the weight lifting. It's not just a symbolic act, it's a divine transaction. Heaven records such moments of obedience because they reveal faith in action. When the paper has fully burned, gather the ashes carefully. Do not keep them. Take them to a natural element, either running water, a river, the sea, or even the wind. As you release the ashes, say, I release my past to you, Lord. Let these ashes never return. Throw or blow them away, and turn your back as a sign that you will not revisit what has been released. God takes that moment as covenant. Your yesterday is over, and your tomorrow begins. Afterward, wash your hands as a symbol of cleansing. You may use plain water or add a pinch of salt for purification. As you wash, say, my hands are now free to receive blessings. This simple act seals your new beginning. Once you finish, take a few minutes in silence and listen. Many feel a sudden peace, others cry, and some sense warmth in their spirit. That is confirmation that the prophetic act has worked. The Spirit of God has begun rewriting your story. To complete the process, give thanks. Say, Lord, thank you for taking what I could not carry. Thank you for healing what I could not fix. Thank you for erasing what I could not forget. Gratitude is what finalizes the spiritual transaction. After you've thanked Him, write a new declaration on another piece of paper with 7 new words that represent your future: peace, favor, restoration, love, wealth, healing, joy. Keep that paper safe as your covenant of new beginnings. It will remind you that what you burned was not loss, but the doorway to divine restoration before 26. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe deeply. The act of burning was physical, but what is happening now is spiritual. You have opened a divine gate for restoration, and heaven is responding. In this moment, speak these words aloud with confidence. I am free from pain. I am released from delay. I am no longer bound by rejection, failure, shame, lack, or sorrow. I am stepping into peace, favor, and abundance. When you speak this, the atmosphere around you begins to shift. Angels take your words as divine orders and begin rearranging your life to match your new confession. Now declare this truth with faith. What once hurt me will now help me. What once delayed me will now develop me. What once rejected me will now respect me. What once failed me will now favor me. What once shamed me will now showcase me. What once limited me will now lift me. What once made me sorrowful will now make me successful. These are not mere affirmations, they are spiritual decrees. Every word carries creative power, and your tongue is a key that opens heaven's vaults. Speak with boldness, for God honors faith-filled declarations. Begin to see yourself as God sees you, not broken, not forgotten, but chosen and destined for greatness. Every tear you have cried has been counted, and now they are being turned into testimonies. The same people who once questioned your worth will marvel at your glow. The same doors that once denied you will swing open wide. This is not the season to look back. This is the time to rise. When you burned those 7 words, something in the spirit realm shifted permanently. The chain that tied you to your past snapped, and the fragrance of freedom began to fill your life. As you declare restoration, visualize new beginnings taking shape. See yourself walking confidently, your head held high, your spirit filled with peace. See financial favor locating you effortlessly. See your health improving, your family restored, your destiny realigned. This prophetic act was not small. It was the seed of transformation. Every limitation that was written against your name in the Spirit has been erased. God has replaced your old story with a new one written in grace and favor. The same fire that burned away your pain has illuminated the path to your promise. Say now, I rise above every form of darkness. My home will radiate peace. My finances will overflow with abundance. My heart will know joy again. My name will be mentioned in rooms of favor. Every curse spoken against me is now null and void. These words are your spiritual armor. They shield you from regression. Speak them daily until they become your reality. Faith comes by hearing, and when you hear yourself declaring victory, you remind the heavens that you trust the God who delivers. Forgive those who wronged you. Release those who hurt you. This act is not about them, it's about freeing yourself. Unforgiveness is another chain of pain that prevents healing. As you speak blessings over those who caused you harm, you elevate spiritually. You remove yourself from the battlefield of bitterness and step into the field of divine favor. When you forgive, you give God permission to fight for you. Every hidden battle you've faced will be handled by heaven itself, and every invisible enemy will bow. Finally, lift your hands and say, Lord, I thank you for rewriting my destiny. Thank you for every hidden blessing that is being revealed. Thank you for every door that is opening. Thank you because every delay has expired. I am free, restored, and renewed. My name is changing. My story is changing, and my season is changing. Feel the peace that follows. That is the confirmation that the fire of heaven has completed its work in your life. From this day forward, walk as one who has been set free, because truly God has erased every pain before 26. Now that your spirit has been restored and your heart feels lighter, remember that this prophetic act was not a coincidence, it was an appointment. You were led to this message for a reason. God saw how long you have been fighting unseen battles. He saw your strength when no one else noticed, and now He is rewarding your faith. Do not let this moment fade away. Continue in prayer, continue in thanksgiving, and continue walking with peace. When you wake up tomorrow, remind yourself that your pain has expired. Every morning is now a sign that your new beginning has arrived. Guard your atmosphere from negativity. Do not speak words of fear or doubt after this. The same tongue that declared release must continue to declare faith. Refuse to entertain people who try to drag you back into old conversations, old wounds, or old versions of yourself. You are a new creation. The ashes you released symbolize closure. Let your environment reflect that change. Clean your home, pray over your space, anoint your doors, and play worship in your room. These simple actions align your surroundings with your spiritual renewal. Every corner must carry peace, because peace is your new identity. Begin to testify even before you see results. Tell God, thank you, because it is done. This is how miracles accelerate. Testimony is the language of faith. And when you testify, heaven releases more. Share your story with others who are hurting. Encourage someone who feels forgotten to try this prophetic act. It is not the fire that changes lives. It is faith. By sharing this message, you become an instrument of healing. There is someone whose deliverance depends on your obedience to speak up. When you share truth, you multiply healing. Stay watchful in prayer. Every midnight, whisper one sentence, Lord, continue erasing every pain before 2026. These nightly whispers are powerful. They keep the spiritual door of restoration open. If you can, light a small candle during prayer as a reminder of the divine fire that started your transformation. Let it symbolize the light of God that will guide you through the rest of this year. Each flame you light carries a message to heaven that you are still standing, still believing, still trusting that God is faithful to complete what He began. Finally, remember this truth. Your pain will not cross into 26. The fire you lit has drawn a spiritual boundary that no curse, no rejection, and no shame can cross. Walk into the new year with boldness and peace. Keep your faith alive. Share this message so others can experience their own release, and stay connected to spiritual teachings that feed your soul. Your miracle has already begun, and heaven has confirmed it. God has erased your pain, and your story of restoration has officially started. Before 26 arrives, your life will speak of divine favor, undeniable peace, and unstoppable joy. And as you close your eyes after this prophetic act, let peace cover you like a gentle blanket. Let the stillness remind you that heaven has heard, and the fire you lit has spoken. Every tear you cried has been turned into a testimony, waiting for its time. You are no longer bound to what broke you. You are rising as proof that faith still moves mountains. Your story will no longer be defined by pain, but by purpose. Every word you burned has been replaced with new promises that will bloom before 26. The wind will carry your name into places of favor. The earth will yield its increase for you, and heaven will remember your obedience. Never forget this night. Never doubt the power of what you have done. Because from this moment forward, your life is under divine construction and your destiny is being rebuilt by the hands of grace. This is Maya's Watchtower, where truth meets healing and wisdom awakens restoration.